Good evening. Today is December 23rd, 7:30 p.m. My name is Jeff LaRouche.
I'm Kimberly Jones.
Welcome to Light at the End of the Tunnel. Today's topic is a new way to live, basically about relationships. Kimberly, what are your thoughts on a new way to live?
I feel that finding a new way to live stems more than just like getting up and going to work every day compared to how I used to live, where I sold drugs and thought that that was fun. That was my full-time job, getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. And today I feel that finding a new way to live is more than just the basic things that I should have done as a adult before, like going to work and, today I go to school. So that's definitely a huge difference compared to the way that I used to live. But when it comes to the way that I treat people is a huge piece of finding a new way to live.
So basically, the way that you treat people is the way that you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And then you get yourself some self-acceptance, self-respect, self-worth in your relationships.
Yeah, I think that they all kind of intertwine. The more that I can accept who I am, the more that I have respect for who I am, and the more that I can see the value of the person that I am. And when that happens, I can treat others better.
Right. And sometimes, you have to really try to figure out, we used to use, right? We used to use drugs, and we learned to adapt to that way of life, and people would treat us a certain way. So as we're in recovery, we're starting to learn more about ourselves, and we start to treat ourselves differently, and we have more respect for ourselves. So we have more respect for ourselves, then we can have respect for others.
Yeah, you kind of attract a different type of person too. Like when you're not using and hanging out with that crowd of people, and you can actually walk with your head held high today, you tend to attract a whole different vibe of people around you.
We have built a reputation when we used to sell drugs of, a certain type of person that we per se, or our persona, look at this person, he's a scumbag, or, he's a drug dealer, he's an addict, never going to do anything with their lives. And now, as we've changed our behaviors, our thoughts, our feelings, and our feelings, we're able to share this with other people. Now we create a different persona. But one thing I want to make clear to everybody is I don't really care what people have to say or think about me, because the biggest thing for me is what I've become today. And I don't worry about yesterday.
Yeah, I think too that you need to not allow people to, because there's still people today, 6 years and some change later, that still feel that way about me. They think that I'm a horrible individual because they're still hurt from things that I've done to them in my past. But at the same time, I don't allow that to slow me down, or I don't step backwards because of it. I got to keep moving forward with integrity. And not allow those words to become so hurtful that they take away what I need to do and what I need to do to continue to live a new way of life. And when you have some self-worth and self-acceptance and the respect for yourself, then you can live with that integrity and keep moving forward, regardless of what people might still say about you years later.
Right. A lot of people, they don't understand what their own self-worth is. They have no idea. All the things and I want to say maybe talents that we used to put into being an addict, all the things that we used to do to get our addiction, the way that we used to go about it. When you're clean and sober and you take those talents that you did as an addict, put them into what you're doing when you're clean and sober. And I'm telling you what, people's abilities are amazing.
Oh, it's, I can't even believe some of the things that I can do in a day's time that I never thought was possible when I was using. I never thought that I could go to work full time and go to school full time and actually get a degree and do all of these things and help other people. And I still make a meeting, at least a couple times a week. I didn't think that that was possible.
So, basically you've overcome some of your issues, and now you have a lot of self-worth, and you're discovering more and more about yourself each and every day, like I have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that a lot of self-worth, sometimes I feel really horrible about myself, and I know that being an addict, that's my addiction, has always told me that I was never good enough. And for whatever reason, it still happens, and I don't know that it'll ever go away. But there are definitely days that I can get down on myself and find myself in situations that aren't good for me, relationships that aren't good for me, because I'm just kind of settling for whatever. you
Right.
know.
But I mean, that's a great thing that you talk about relationships. I mean, now that you've overcome most of your struggles, I mean, we struggle every day,
Mhm.
and we're still learning about ourselves each and every day. But relationships, we know what we want, and if we treat ourselves a certain way, and then we show other people the way that we want to be treated, eventually down the road, our relationships will get better and they'll last longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe one day we'll find the right person for us. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And that could be tomorrow. You never know. Things happen for a reason.
absolutely.
So, Kim, do you have any other words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
No, I think the only other thing that I would talk about in regards to relationships and finding a new way to live is the family relationships as well. That like I still have some family that uses, and it's really difficult to kind of differentiate between, whether to hang out with them, whether to not hang out with them. I still feel like I absolutely love my family, but at the same time, I try to know enough and feel good enough about myself that if I can't hang out with them, I can't hang out with them if it's bad for me.
So basically, what you're saying is that you've set up boundaries, barriers, and roadblocks of what
Yeah.
you're not going to do.
Exactly.
So a lot of times, like if you have a family member that uses, I mean, is it sometimes better to go visit them, or is it better to call them? Are you at the point where you're okay in your recovery, where you can actually go see them and see them in their struggles?
Yeah, I think that it definitely took a lot of time before I was able to like go hang out with my family members. And it's funny because like I always felt like I was the outsider in my family, and then I used to fit in with my family.
Mhm.
And now that I don't use again, and of course I was young back then when I felt like an outsider, but today I really feel like an outsider. Because I choose to live a completely different lifestyle than anybody else. But at the same time, like
Go
I gotta go see them. I hang out with them, periodically, but it's not, I definitely wouldn't like move in. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, in a sense, you feel like you're an outsider, but in a sense, that feels kind of good because you're not at that level where they are. You've overcome those struggles, and
Yeah.
you can see what you used to be by watching your family or by certain people that you see on a daily basis. And honestly, I don't miss any of it.
No. And I look at it and I'm like, I'm so glad I don't live like that anymore.
I feel sorry for people that are still addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I wish that each and everybody that's out there in the world would actually reach out and talk to somebody and basically tell on themselves and try to get the help they need. And me and Ken both know where there's a ton of resources, and like I said before, you always can reach out to one of us and we'll try to help you.
Absolutely.
And then you'll gain some self-worth. People don't realize what they're worth when they're using. They have no idea.
Yeah, it goes on the back burner
And
for sure.
What is a big thing is people, places, and things.
People, places, and things.
You got to change all that.
All of it.
So new way to live is a great topic for today. And my name is Jeff LaRouche.
I'm Kimberly Jones.
Thank you for watching Light at the End of the Tunnel.
Bye.
See ya.